Hello and welcome back again. It's Laura at Hyperstamper. This little beauty is from 1892 and it is called Shag and Doll. I think it's 1892 at the latest. It could be earlier. Having a hard time researching this one, which means it might be a bit rare. It is 5 inches by 7 3/8. And I have this beautiful little image here of a woman reading a letter, and she's sitting in her chair. It looks like in the library, and it's covered with these beautiful vines and this nice emerald green. And look at the scrolling in the title, Shag and Doll. Isn't that beautiful? Had to do a little bit of repair to the spine. And then in the back, there's this other lovely little image. It's really quite splendid. I love it. And this is a vintage earring that I just thought matched the colors of the book. So I added some of my own ribbon that matched the colors of the leaves and some gold chain. And I just thought it was fun. It can be removed and reused in any way you like. So the original first pages are in here, and yes, they are quite beat up, but I've tried to preserve them as best I could and reinforce them. And I always say if some of the pages fall out, because I mean, this particular one is 130 years old, just either glue it back down somewhere, collage it, or tuck it back into the many, many tuck spots that are in the book. So here we go. This is the original first pages, and I love the inscription here. Look at the S's. So this is Dolly Roberts, and it is from a secondary school, number 7 EF. Don't know what that is. And 1893, it says there, which means that the book was published probably in the early 1890s. So this is the original onion paper that I was able to refasten down, covering up the first illustration in the book, which is Mrs. Park receives good news. So I love that. So let's go through this really pretty little book. There's a Paris, France almanac page, double-sided, from 1938 during World War II. And just a fun little image I pulled out of a children's book, a funny mouse, little antique doily piece there, and some journaling paper underneath. And I left this alone because it was just a really pretty image of the covered wagons. Everything in here is original, authentic, antique, and vintage ephemera, except for the few tea-dyed pages that I added for extra journaling space. Just a wonderful little farming page here from a children's book, and 1949 Beacon Lodge pole, or roster. A vintage botanical book page, very lovely. And this was an antique soft cover book, 107 Fleur, and that I believe is Scandinavian. Isn't that cool? Look at these beautiful, beautiful daisies. Aren't they lovely? I love them. Very colorful and bright for a vintage book. I was quite pleased. And look at that. Beautiful mountains. Here's more scenery here, hills in the land. Over here, another little mouse. And then up here is a 1930s children's book page with a castle in the background there, a tree and a bird. Antique paper for journaling on top of it. Whoop, whoop. There we go. Little hand stamped images throughout that I've added. And in this pocket, that is got this lovely image as well of a castle. And another one here of a prince on a horse from Folklore, Fables, and Fairy Tales from 1937. And I turned this one into just a little double pocket. And at this stunning woman here with the very hipster sunglasses. And this would have been, this is Winifred Russell, and we believe that this is from the 40s here. And then this is another one of these wonderful German banknotes from 1924. That's awesome. They're so colorful to this day. I just love them so much. You can do lots of fun things with those if you like to do mixed media art as well. Look at this, is just a home economics page on how to make breakfast. Why not? Planning breakfast. I have never planned breakfast in my life, but apparently in the 40s and 50s they did. Here's a really fun check here. Look at this car for the Wiles Motor Company, and $422. October 1958, and it was stamped from the Nashville Clearinghouse. Fun. Okay, so that's tucked into there. I made a little tag here out of a 1940s magazine. page, and a vintage playing card here, and a vintage Monopoly chance card, all done into a little triple pocket there. More bird pages from a vintage bird book, and oh, Waffles and Donuts, vintage cookbook. It's a 1923 French book page here, illustration. And then I've got this really beautiful postcard from England, and that is from the early 1900s, pre-1910. And we'll tuck that back in here. And here's another one of these wonderful, I have actually thousands of these, so I'm going to be using them a lot in the days to come. This one's from the Calgary Herald, 1897, and this one's about Alaska and the Yukon, and it would have been an excerpt from the news. And we think that's what the government would have kept track of. Another blank antique page here. And up here is another little antique book page, fold out with really beautiful images. And that is from the book Shag and Doll. This was chapter 1, but I just love the images, so I thought it should stay with the book forever. And so that's gonna live here. There we go. And some sewing instructions, piano player roll. Oh, that's from a design book from 1930, and an early 1900s plate from medieval fashion book, and also under onion skin. And what else do we have? Oh, there's so much here. I'm trying not to take too long to go through it all because it's just so much. 1955 stamp collector's page. We've got some Canadian birch bark up here, and all of this cluster is mounted on top of an antique music sheet. This is from 1940, this beautiful cross-stitch piece here on this very soft cotton. And I've tucked it into it this little booklet I made out of antique papers. And that's a watercolor book page there. And another page from an antique geography book, school geography book. And look at this little pretty piece here. It should be tucked into a pocket. I just forgot to put it in its pocket. We will do that together. Look at these beautiful Venezuelan stamps that somebody has collected here. Lovely monarch from a children's book page. And here are the original end pages of this book. And I try to keep those whenever I can. That not all books said the end, but I think it's quite endearing when they do. Just a wonderful, wonderful little book. I'm gonna tuck this into here. It's very special. And that's going on Etsy now as well, hyperstamper.etsy.com. And I hope you'll subscribe so you can see them before they hit Etsy. Bye for now.